What's up, guys? Coach T with Condor Baseball Academy. On today's episode of Backyard Baseball, we are going to be working on our throwing routine. This is a throwing routine that you want to do every time you get to practice or every time that you pregame. So you want to start out with a pretty close distance, just getting a little bit of flip. So getting a little bit of forearm, the wrist involved. Then we're going to see as Micah's going to be backing up, he's going to then keep his feet planted and turn. Back up a little bit more. He's going to get more of a rotation. Turn. Still trying to keep that shoulder. Feet are going to be planted, shoulder here, and turn. Couple throws at each spot, and then he's going to back up. You're going to see him back up, and he's getting his arm loose on the way out. On the way back in, you're going to see he's going to be working on his footwork. He plays infield, so on the way out, he's getting his arm nice and loose, and then on the way back in, he's being intentional about what he's doing, which is taking his footwork, working on his footwork while he's throwing. So it's not just throwing, but taking advantage of every opportunity to grow and get better, even if it's just playing catch. Some other things to remember when you're playing catch: give your guy a good target, right? Give your guy a good target, get your other hand there, especially you middle infielders. You want to be making sure you're practicing. So if I'm fielding, if I'm receiving from my partner, bang, all right? And then I throw, okay? Right? I'm here, throw. Or I practice there. Right? So I'm practicing different things as I'm playing catch. But if you practice how you play, then you want to practice the right way and you want to be working on something, not just playing catch. As you can see right here, he's just doing a little bit of flips. So we could probably get a little bit closer and make it a little bit easier so he doesn't push it as much. It's more of just a wrist flip or a wrist flick. And again, that's just to get the wrist involved when you start to throw. Now you're going to see he's going to start to back up, and we're not stepping at this time. You can see that both of his feet are planted in the ground, and he's just turning and throwing. And that's trying to get the hips loosened up a little bit and trying to take the feet out of it. And you want to get a full shoulder rotation, keeping the shoulder closed, front hip, front shoulder going towards your target at all times. And we're going to start to back it up a little bit. So now we're adding in the step. And so you want to be making 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 throws at each position, and then take a big step or 2 steps back. Make sure that you're catching the baseball with 2 hands. And again, that little step, keeping the front shoulder, the left shoulder in this case. If you're lefty, you want to keep your right shoulder closed and keep that front hip going towards your target. Practicing good throws in warm-ups leads to good throws in the game, which leads to outs and saving runs and ultimately winning baseball games. As we're starting to get a little bit further out, you want to start to get a little bit of a shuffle. Gather yourself using your legs to throw the baseball, saving your arm a little bit, and also allowing you to get more on the throw. And right now, we're not getting out to long toss depth, and then you're about to see this green box save the day. That's a bear of a hill down there. But we're not getting into long toss right now. That's a different day, different video, different drill. But we're just trying to get to good, comfortable distance, and again, working on the shuffle, working through the throw. As you can see, slowing it down for you, he's gathering himself, getting a little shuffle. Again, keeping that front shoulder square to your target, leading right to your target, that front hip stepping right at your target, driving through, elbow out, good, perfect, right like that, driving through, pulling it down, and letting it go. Now, ideally after this, when you get the momentum, you'd like to be able to throw the baseball and then follow through and walk it out, maybe take your step or 2 afterwards using that momentum. Now we're going to start to work our way back in. And again, Micah plays infield, and so he's going to work on his footwork, working on getting the arm loose on the way out, work on your footwork, fielding ground balls, throwing to first base on your way back in. So we want to go right, left field, right, left throw. Make sure that you were catching the baseball with 2 hands like he just did right there. Anytime, especially playing infield, middle infield specifically, having that second hand right there makes a quicker transition, makes it smoother, and makes it a lot more comfortable and a lot more natural when you get into the game, as long as if you're always catching with 2 hands. And we always finish up, like I said, infield, we always finish up with a quick hands drill, which is kind of replicating turning a double play. The key is keeping your glove open, trying to keep it open and just trapping the ball in there to get the ball out for a quick transition. And like I said, we just always work on this at the end of our throwing routine, and it just keeps us in a good place and a little competition. So you can do this up against a wall as well. You don't necessarily need a throwing partner, but compete with it. See how many you can get in a row without dropping one. And you want to try to put it on the right shoulder. So I don't do necessarily as good of a job, but you want to try to keep it on his right shoulder so that way he can just transition. The throwing hand goes right to the ear, quick flip. So you don't want to go to the left side of the body, and it makes it hard for a transition. So try to keep it to the right shoulder for a good. Now here's a shot of me doing the drill, and this is maybe a little bit more advanced, kind of get your footwork involved. So if you're a little bit of an older player, you can work on being a little bit quicker. And again, keeping that glove open. You'll notice I don't close my glove. I just trap the baseball in there to get it out. When you get a little bit more advanced, you can just let it hit your glove and then quickly swipe it as it rebounds out. Just like that. Notice that right hand doesn't even go into my glove at all. It just hits off the glove, and I throw the other hand, swipe the other hand, quickly grabbing the baseball. A little bit more advanced, but something to shoot for. All right, guys, I hope that video helped. It's just a nice, simple throwing routine, a way to get you loosened up. And one thing I didn't mention in there is you always want to be getting a four-seam grip. What that does is it makes the ball come out and travel straight through the air. So either a four-seam grip this way or a four-seam grip that way. So as you're catching the baseball and you're transitioning, you want to be feeling it and always get that four-seam grip. Sometimes, especially when we do the quick hands drill, you can't get that four-seam grip. But if you're fielding it, right, when you're practicing fielding, every ground ball you take, every ball you catch, you want to be feeling for it in your glove, and eventually it's going to come out in a four-seam grip. If you throw it in a two-seam or just kind of grip it and throw it, it has a tendency to want to tail off or sail on you. And so that's going to cost you runs, or going to cost you runners advancing, ultimately going to cost you runs and ending up in losses. One other thing I didn't mention in the video about long toss. So you don't want to be long tossing every day of the week, but maybe long toss 2 to 3 days a week. And that's one of those things where you just want to get as far out as you can possibly throw. You don't necessarily want to be, landing 30 feet short of your throwing partner, but you want to get out about as far as you can throw and let it go. So you want a little bit of an arc on it and try to throw it as hard and as far as you can. And that's going to help build arm strength, but you don't want to do it all the time or too much. Be sure to like this video and subscribe. Stay tuned for some more backyard baseball drills from Condor Baseball Academy.